This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we discussed that now might be the right time to change your PT model and offering. Alright, and 3, 2, 1. So I guess we were wrong about July, mate.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on?
Yeah, well wrong, to be fair. I
mean,
don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought.
There was me trusting the UK sport government guidelines that is our governing body and what we were being told. But no, I just wrote that from it. Just shows you that whatever documentation comes out of legally can get changed in 2 seconds right now. Absolutely anything. So a bunch of people were like, "Where did you even get that information? You really thought it was an open?" I was like, "Yeah, our governing body."
Yeah, I think it must be. It's obviously close. I think that's the main thing to take from it, isn't it? Is it's obviously going to be the next. What's it? The next official one has to be in 3 weeks announcement, but it's probably going to be before that.
Yeah. So I actually just before going on air today got a message through from the CEO from Birdspace saying that they've been in contact with the minister that is for our department and UK sport government, whatever, and he is hoping, and he said to reset for mid-July. So, which it looks like it's kind of
a million miles away.
It's not a million miles away, is it? I'm going to go, it's going to be two to 3 weeks from the 4th, essentially, because it seems to happen in those batches, isn't it? They always said they'd reassess every, 3 weeks, didn't they, for lockdown purposes, but seems like, all right, we'll do that. But just seems to be, they announced it. So they announced it today. What is it today? What did they say? 23rd.
Yeah.
The social distancing will go down to 1 metre plus, is what they said, by the 4th. So essentially this week and a half or 2 weeks is tester. It's people are going to go down to 1 metre and we'll see whether it spikes up a little bit. And then they'll be like, yes, we made the right decision. Or they can just be like, actually, no.
The thing is, anyone who was actually sticking to social distancing before at 2 meters is going to stick to it at 1 meter. But anyone who wasn't bothered at 2 meters ain't going to fucking be bothered now at 1, are they? They're still going to be around people, right? So in the grand scheme of things, not much is going to change, because I know that I've seen people, and there has been people who don't care about the social distancing, even when they've gone around people's houses and stuff like that. I think if you, like I say, if you go and see your mate and you know that it's all good, it's like you're outside, no one really minds too much. But I just find it interesting, in our industry, the fury with which people have gone mad about it. And I get it, I understand it from a completely personal point of view. It sucks. You'd rather see the gyms open, and from a health point of view, they're just going to do far more for you than drinking and all that sort of shit. I get it, but I can't help but think that there's a massive oversight on just the basic economics of the situation. The amount of tax revenue pubs, beer, alcohol is going to bring the government is 100 times that of the gyms, 100 if not more. I looked at it earlier today when all this was announced. I actually was geeky enough to look into it and Googled it, and it's estimated that through beer alone and pubs, that just by those two things, that it generates 16 billion a year in tax revenue. 16 billion. I then looked up the health and fitness club revenue, not even the tax revenue, overall revenue to the whole year was 2 billion. That's not even tax revenue, that's just revenue. So I was like, so if you're wondering why maybe pubs have opened before gyms, it's maybe because, I know it sounds crazy to say, more people want to drink than they want to go to the gym. I know it's crazy to us, people want to go to the gym. But when people are like, oh, they're not going to stick to social distancing in pubs, are they? So no, they're not. Of course they're not. But the point is, not only, and this isn't even going into the science of it all, because I'm sure that gyms are probably more contagious because of the sweat and the droplets that they talk about all the time. I get all that sort of stuff. Even if gyms are super safe, probably going to be as much transmission there as anywhere else, right? Pubs, I get it. People are screaming and shouting. There's droplets going everywhere, whatever, right? But it comes back down to pubs and beer industry and all the alcohol industry and everything probably employs more people as well than health and fitness do. And I know that that's us, and I know it's shit for us, and I get it. All PTs and gym owners, I feel for every single one of them. But there's far more pubs than there are gyms, and people spend far more money in pubs than they do in gyms. You know, and I just think you have to sometimes look at what the government are going to be looking at, and they don't care about your squat PB. They couldn't give a shit. They are looking at it and going, we need to get some money in quick because we've just spent.
You're saying they only care. They only care about what your bench is, mate. So
yeah. Squats don't care. Bench, however. I just think like from that point of view, think about that. But then also, someone said to me as well, like from a morale point of view, people are more, it's going to raise the spirits if people can go to the pubs and watch sport and all that sort of shit.
Yeah. Like you got like people, Premier League's back every single day.
Yeah, and I think it's just like it's easy for us because we're just so like pissed off about it, and we're right to be pissed off because it's like, when's it going to be our turn or whatever. And I really feel for those people whose jobs depend on the gyms being open, like that is, like you, like it's tough. Like, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you have to take a step back and look at it and go, well, actually, it's for the benefit of more people that they do it that way round potentially. And like I said, the government are just looking at a pure numbers thing. They need to get cash in quick. And tax revenue and making sure people can get back into that is one way that they'll think about it. So in terms of priorities, unfortunately, like I said, the gyms, because ultimately they're going to say, look, people are going to work out at home or whatever if they want. And I know people will argue that people can drink at home, but it's not that, is it? It's the socialising.
Yes, the social aspect of everybody going into whatever. I mean, I originally said I thought it would be like August, September when the gyms are opening. We're creeping up to it. So I mean,
it goes mid-July. I think that's ahead of schedule. What a lot of us thought it would be.
Yeah,
to be honest, I think it is. So it is annoying, and like I said, it's shit. But there's no point dwelling on it. In terms of, for me, obviously it's a bit different because for me it's just because I just want to go to the gym and I want all my clients to be able to go to the gym. Like my income doesn't depend on the gyms being open necessarily, like a lot of other PTs. So it's easier for me to be a bit more like, oh look, just come on, we're nearly there now. Just ride it out. There's nothing you can do about it, kind of thing. I understand that it's frustrating. Like I know a lot of gym owners, and I follow them up on Facebook and stuff, and they're obviously pissed off because they're prepared to make sure it's the cleanest place on earth, but.
I mean, like some of the stuff that we've gone OTT, not OTT, but I think third place is always one of we got 5 brand pillars of how our clubs are, right? And Dan obviously knows that from working. Obviously, when we had the changeover, you didn't work for the changeover as much, but from now, one of the brand pillars is about cleanliness and being clean. That is literally, equipment, specialties, experts, blah, blah, blah. That's what you pay for. But there's probably the biggest reason why we are one of the most expensive clubs is because the place is fucking spotless most of the time. And that's probably what we pride ourselves in. And we're going to have so much more housekeeping. So all the gyms have now been, we've seen it, I think I sent a video of like an infrared camera. So it's how like me and Dan are being talking on Skype. It's like a screen, like an iPad. And you just go up to it, read your temperature, straight bang in front of you, and then says please enter. And if it's quite cool. So all of our clubs have got that now, and you have to go in front of it before you're allowed in, which is pretty cool. Obviously there'll be sanitary stuff, all that sanitizer, blah blah blah, all the normal jazz. But like some of the we're putting some funding into it and reallocating resources because you realise how much of a thing it needs to be open. But we were kind of in full on like prepare mode, unfurloughing people this week to prepare for the 4th. And that's shit. And then the rules on furlough, if you get placed on furlough, you have to be on furlough for 3 weeks. You cannot come off it for the next 3 weeks. So, which is interesting, right? So those people, I was like, if you've been on furloughed, you're going to go straight back on it now, but you can't come off it for another 3 weeks, or they might just keep you on the payroll and might get you starting, I don't know, some stuff to do. Probably part-time furlough, because I think that's as of July, I believe. But yeah, be interesting. So yeah, I think from the perspective, I'm coming from the perspective of being in gym is my livelihood. I'm still on some of the furlough stuff, but obviously you can see from my Instagram, I'm training like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 clients outside of gyms now. Actually really enjoying it, and especially with the way the work's going with the PTC, I've got that luxury to fall back on. And how I want to split up my week anyway, I was probably only spending 3 days in third space, so it will not be as a big a hit to me. I understand there's not a lot of people in that situation, but it's it's quite interesting how it needs to be that hybrid. We talked about it, didn't we? How trainers need to be into a hybrid culture now and have like probably 2 to 3 days in person and then 2 to 3 days of online. And that's how it kind of should be. It's just obviously with the online stuff and what we'll talk about somewhere down the line, especially with PTs, you've got the online, like what I've told people to go in and it's like, if there's any courses, we got the online training blueprint, jump on one of those just because that's, you don't have to learn how to do it. Even if your current clients, you can't see them as often. That's going to be the fact. Like, all right, you program with them, but you still don't have to do check-ins and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see how it works. So I think
hopefully it's, I think hopefully it's forcing people to think differently about the service they provide. And I hope that when people go back, like I saw a discussion in the Gym Outcast group, of course it was.
I think I might have, it was either that or it was in UK PTs about one lad was like, he charges like 70 quid for a session, in-person session. He didn't understand how you could make money doing online sessions.
Yeah,
or online training. And he totally got the wrong end of it.
Yeah, he said, I don't get how these people are making thousands or whatever. And it's like, yeah, because he was basically thinking of his service as an hourly thing. And he was like, where are all the hours in a day kind of thing? And it's like, I hope from out of this, trainers are realizing that they're providing a service that goes beyond that 1 hour in the gym and people will pay for a result. If you can get a result for them, because bear in mind, this is the whole thing with like online coaching, right? Is that I would say that weight issues and not being happy with how you look are one of the major stresses to the majority of the Western world. I would say that's one of the major stresses to people. And my service as an online coach, or your service as an online coach, anyone's service as an online coach, is to remove that stress. Now, we know, based on plastic surgery, on liposuction, all this sort of stuff, people spend thousands upon thousands of pounds to get that result that they want. Yes, without the hard work, and you're always going to pay more for that, whatever. But people are paying for a result, and they'll pay more money the higher the likelihood is that they're going to get that result. So when people go in and go, I'm going to try a PT at £30 an hour, whatever, and they don't quite see results for whatever reason, it's one of those things where that doesn't mean that either you're charging the wrong amount or they think that it's too expensive or that there's other trainers that charge £500 a month and they're doing it wrong or they're doing it right. It doesn't mean any of that. All it means is meeting the person that you're training where they're at and going, I can help you get to your goal. And whatever you have to charge to do that, you charge. And that's why as you get better and as you get more experience, generally prices go up because you have a much higher likelihood that you can guarantee that person that result because you know more and you're better. And
I mean, yeah, that's something that I think I pointed out to a couple of my clients and they were like, oh yeah, that was the stuff that they were looking for. I was like, because obviously the hour. So if you say the hourly thing, I was like, you're paying me like 30, 40 quid more an hour. Yeah, cool. But you're going to come to me with a problem that I'll probably able to, because of the experience or whatever, I might be able to solve in about 2 minutes. And be like, oh, but it might take a more novice trainer the whole hour to solve it. But you're paying for that expertise.
Yeah, exactly
like,
that.
So actually, my time I've spent, they'll be like, but how can you charge that? Like yeah, but you're paying for the fact that I will probably know it. That's the new thing. So you're cutting out the bullshit.
It's that whole thing of like, I've had people before say, like we're getting people towards a photo shoot, and I sort of say, look, like, if I said to someone in 6 months' time, I'll get you to that photo shoot, right? And it's going to cost you, and you're going to be in that shape. You're going to have cover model abs. You're going to look like you belong on a cover of Men's Health, and it's going to cost you $3,000. They'd go, like, all right, because it's doable. Whereas if you say to them, oh, you can lose 5 kilos, it's like, well, that doesn't really mean much because people want. Again, it comes down to emotions and desires and what they want to achieve and what they want to get out of this, and PTs are stuck in this view of that they pay for the hour and it's like, oh, I've got to give them all the value in that hour, and that's why that they think they have to make them sweat loads and jump around loads and change their program every day because they don't want to get them to get bored and that sort of shit. It's like, no, if that's what you're thinking, hour to hour, session to session, you're worried that person's going to leave or not book in for another session in a week later because of for whatever reason, you're doing it wrong. Like, because you should be saying to them, well, no, you're investing in a result that in 6 months' time I'll be able to get you. And if they don't want to hear it, and they go, oh, they want to haggle or whatever, you go, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Go somewhere else because they will haggle and they won't get the result. And it's this whole thing of I really hope PTs start looking at their service and go, I don't charge per hour. I charge for the result, and I charge you to not get injured, to make sure you move properly, to get stronger as quickly as possible, and to leave you in a place that you're fit, healthy, like I said, and you're not got shit posture and all that sort of crap, whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's trying to get that through to people, and that's what online coaching does. We manage to get that across to someone and make it evident that that's what we do. Like that's what we do. And not enough PTs, for example, share ice cream van, quick, go.
I'm on the floor, mate. I'm gonna be like parasoling down.
Yeah, parasol down. Like not enough PTs, in my opinion, share. Flipping out, that's really loud, isn't it?
That's a nice soundtrack to this. I think we should play music in the background more often.
Yeah, not enough PTs.
I can see him, look. It's Mr. Magic.
Mr. Magic, mate, get a flake 99, 2 flakes, please. Love a
flake. Flake 99. Jesus Christ, how much is that? How much does that set you back now?
About £3 in London, probably at least.
£3, £3.50. I've seen it for about that. Yeah.
I reckon it'd be £1 a flake as well for the extra flake. But yeah, I think that the in-person PTs actually spend too much time on the day-to-day, hour-to-hour part of their day working with clients that they don't then. Huh?
Yeah. 1,000%. I totally agree.
Yeah, they spend
worry about how many sessions they're going to do. They worry about what they've been doing in the session so much. And you're like, there was some of them. I'll show them one of my sessions, and literally it will just be bare minimum stuff. And they'll be like, well, how do you know? I was like, I don't know what he needs to do. Like, he needs to move, do this, do that, do that.
Yeah, but we've talked about it before with like templates and stuff. Too many of them. Again, good ones. I'm not even talking about shit ones now. I'm talking about good ones here. They're so obsessed with giving everyone the exact personalized service and writing every single plan from scratch. And it's like, no, do you know what? Most people 50% of people I used to see in the third space, I'd have their program in my head written out. After I'd done the assessment, I was like, I know what you need. And it's the same as what 50% of my clients need. And you're just starting at this point, and they're 3 months ahead of you, but I'm going to give you the same start point because you know what? You're pretty much identical. And too many of them are trying their best to give that expert service in that hour. They're answering their phone all the time. They're texting them back. They're giving them this thing. And they're never working on their business. They're never taking a step back and going, right, what can this client help me out with? So can I get a video of them training to post on Instagram? Can I get a testimonial from them? Can I get progress pictures from them? Can I get something to use for social media so that I can show people that this is what I'm good at and this is what I do? Because ultimately they spend too long on the gym floor helping people out with those sorts of technical things that they think are really, really important, and not enough time showing prospective clients that they know what they're talking about. And then they wonder how other people make more money or have more time or charge more. And it's like, yeah, because you're creating an element of, well, I'm good at what I do. But if you don't have that documentation, you just train 100 sessions, in a month or more, and you get bogged down in it all, and you never really kind of put yourself out there, you're not going to be able to show off that experience that you've got and the results that you've got that are going to be able to bring in more clients that are going to pay you more money. So yeah, basically PTs need to spend more time thinking about their business, what they offer, how to get clients through the door, rather than just on the minutiae of each hour, of each session, of each client and all that sort of jazz, because it's killing them, unfortunately. And I think that's where people are saying, oh, you have to go online now. And it's like, no, you could do a hybrid thing. You could do half and half. You could do a bit of both. Like, that's the best way of doing it because you get a bit of everything. You just have to be strict on your times and when you dedicate that time. But I remember when I was a PT, I was doing online stuff at the same time for a bit. And, I used to do it in the hours off that I had occasionally. Like some hours would just take off, we'd doss around, me and you would just doss around. But looking back, I did spend a decent chunk of it working on the online stuff and doing other things. And I just think a lot of people waste those hours on, getting a coffee, getting food, and actually.
Oh, mate, like the time, one of the biggest things is going to train themselves, which I 100% get. Like, you have to be in shape, blah, 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 or like try new things. But one of the biggest pet peeves, so for example, we might like run education sessions and sometimes they're optional, but then I would see a PT training themselves at the same time as I may be running an education session, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, it's not only an education session. This is a chance to interact with your peers, chance to possibly learn. This is probably a chance to kind of learn stuff and kind of, I don't know, cement your place or that kind of thing. Get a little bit of networking going on, find other ideas, work on your business, all that kind of thing. And like, I'm like, no, you've chosen to do arm day.
And,
amazing. Okay, wonderful.
and they're usually the ones as well who are like, oh, I'm really struggling with clients this month, and I didn't get any leads this month.
They're always like, oh yeah, I need some leads, and I'm like, well, it's like, all right, you do 20 to 25 hours of PT. I get it's hard, but there's also a big chunk of the day that is normally like kind of free day really for PTs. They don't have, you kind of have the peak like at the start of the day, the lunchtime, and then the after hours. Me and you very rarely did like the after hours thing because we were just like, don't want to ever do that. Hence, you did online training and I went into education because I was just like, other stuff to do. It's just like, all right, well, what's happening? And probably the hours from 10 till 12 and maybe like 2 till 4 or 3 till 5. Chances are PTs around the country are training. And it's always like, all right, do we need to train 6 times a week all the time? Probably not.
It is interesting. I just find it fascinating that I think there's just so much that they can learn, and I think I see a lot of me and Mike are working with SOOOOO now, and we see a lot of like the adverts that he does, and he gets a lot of hate on his adverts for like always talking about high ticket or whatever, or making money and all this sort of stuff, and it's like, do you know what though? These people like are smart because they get it. They get how that happens. There was almost a bit of a taboo with PTs and like wanting to make money and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, but that's their biggest gripe. And it's like, hang on a minute, you can't sit there and moan at people who are helping people do this and get a job that they love and earning money by helping people, but then also moan that you're not getting in the leads or you're not getting that in, or that people aren't paying you enough. And it's just like, it's such a backward system, and it's only in the PT world it seems to happen. Or it's just like, it's just crazy. But all these people, they're always doing work behind the scenes. Like, I think people assume with online trainers, like, all I do is my check-ins each week. Like, that's all I do. And I haven't spent like Monday having meetings with people, and I haven't spent the afternoon writing emails, and I haven't spent that time coming up with a brand new program, or that Tuesday I haven't come up with, what have I done today? That we haven't like done social media content and spent time editing videos and filming videos and stuff, because I think it's because you just see the highlights on like stories, which is like, oh, I'm just doing this, or just having food, or just chilling out. People assume that that's like all you do. And it's like, well, I'm not going to show you me 8 o'clock at night work on my computer, am I? Like, I'm not. Why would I show you I do that? Because that's boring. And I just think there's this assumption that it's like,
that's for your OnlyFans though, isn't it? When it gets 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Me in a hoodie on my computer. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I just think it's baffling. And the amount, but it comes back down to the amount of PTs who won't invest in themselves is frightening. It's frightening.
Coming out the back of this, so considering that probably gyms are going to be like, so say people didn't start through lockdown or were slightly scared. What's the kick up the arse? What would be the maybe 1 or 2 things you would be like, let's get this done? Let's say we open this time next month. So let's say the 20th, 23rd of July, they open. What do you think should be in place for the next 4 weeks for them to start some of this rolling? What would you put as business? Say like, all right, usually do about 20 sessions a week or something like that. What would you start to do?
Well, the first port of call would be to speak to your current clients and see if you can help them in any way doing online-based stuff, and not Zoom sessions. I mean, like actual checking in with them, being a human, like being a mate, and saying like, look, I can help you in all these ways, and even just getting them to basically track some information for you so you can give them some idea of where they're at, like tracking their steps, whether it's tracking their calories, whether it's tracking their workouts, whether it's having some sort of idea of a start point, as when you go back, you can say to them, right, you need to do this and this, control this here, you're going to be fine, and then you can go forward. But people assume there's all these fancy systems that you need, but they're always best developed as you go, because you learn what works, what doesn't work, and it always takes more time the first few times you do it. But always start with those people, because you've already got a relationship with them, so that's great. And then you're gonna basically, what I would do is, if you have enough money, obviously money's tight at the moment, is just invest in someone to help you. It's the easiest way to get where you want to be, is to get someone to tell you this is what you need to do, who's been there, who's done it, who knows where they're at. Like, well, you work for the PTC, so there's one place there you go and go, right, learn something from there, go and do a course that just tells you everything you need to know, trust those guys, go and do it, just implement it, don't second guess it, don't think, oh, it's not going to work for me, just do it, just do what you're told, and you'll find you will get what you want out of it. Likewise, there's loads of other people who help with that sort of thing. These systems are tried and tested, they're proven, they work, all that sort of stuff.
That's the thing. I think looking back, that's what both of us have done in terms of online coaching. I went to John Clark. not only to like get my programs written, but I wanted to chat to him about what he was doing, like business wise. And you've got the same people who do that to you in terms of like, yeah, you're writing their programs, but probably the check-ins are probably more about their business.
Yeah,
and that was the case with me as well. And it happened with me. I was just like, all right, okay, yeah. I was like, do you really want me to write your programs, or do you want to just talk about becoming a PT? Like, probably sounds like you want to do that.
Yeah, and I just think I think again, PTs are so frightened to invest in themselves. They're happy to spend more money on, like, say, gym kit, or the like an education thing that's going to help them become a better trainer. But most PTs I know anyway, because I surround myself with fairly decent people, are good PTs. Where they lack is the business side of things and understanding that side. And I by the way, I am no way sitting on a high horse here saying that I know. I do not. We're just starting out with this sort of stuff. But the more I learn about it and the more I get my head around it, the more I think, well, there's a reason why I've been sat here with a waiting list of clients. Do you know? Like, it's not from fucking luck. It's because I've worked my nuts off and got to a point where actually now I kind of have figured out what works for me. It doesn't always work, but PTs are so quick to invest in a new course, £2,000 new course, let's do it, because I'll be a better trainer, I'll get more clients. It's not going to get you more clients, 100%. You know more than enough now to help your clients. What you need to do is work out how to run a business rather than just be a renter mate that turns up for £70 an hour to hold weights for someone and spot them. That's the difference here. Is like, and once you have that nous, dare I say it, Tom, like you've got, you then don't just become a PT that goes, oh yeah, don't worry about it, you missed your session, don't worry about paying for it, I'll just see you next time. So people take the piss out of you. People don't take the piss out of you, do they? No, they treat you like a professional, because that's what you are. And again, they get a result, and when you increase your prices, they go, okay, because they know you're worth it. And all these PTs that are worried about doing that sort of thing are worried because, they don't actually provide the whole service and not seen as a professional and as a business.
Conversations. So I think I think if it's not next month, the month after PTC, we're releasing a little bit of something that will be. We'll talk about it here. We'll get Luke to come on and talk about it when we release it. But that's one of the conversations and something I will be doing videos on in terms of having the conversation with your client about increasing your prices. Because I've increased over the last. Well, I've been a PT 6.5 years maybe. I've increased my prices. What price did we start at? 65 quid?
I think it was 70, wasn't it?
No, it was definitely in the 60s. 65 quid an hour?
Yeah, it must be then, yeah.
I think it was 65 quid an hour. And right now, I'm at about 95 to 100 an hour. And I've gone up in like tens. So let's call it 65 to 75 to 85 to 95. So I've increased it 4 times in the last 6 years.
Yeah, I guess like putting up prices is always like, I don't know, just a difficult conversation to have. And people don't like it at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, they don't. I think it's hard. Obviously, it's a tough thing, but that's how you're going to have more time and to be able to earn more money and provide a better service is when you're not stressed out to fuck working with loads of people. Like, it's pretty simple. There's a reason like that when you get to that high level of being a CEO and stuff, like you get paid more money per hour you work because it's deemed more important. And I just think there's a lot of trainers that are stuck in that thing of they feel like they can't charge more, but they want to work with more people, and then like there's not enough hours in the day, they get burnt out. And that's where the online model can work, is that you can up your prices, provide a service that you can do, then provide half of it at home. You can write their plans for them. You only see them once every 2 weeks potentially in the gym. It frees up your time. You charge a bit more. People are like, but that hour, then they're not paying for you for that hour, and are they going to see value in it? It's like, well, that's your problem, because you obviously can't give value elsewhere. That's on you. You've got to do that. But like you said about your prices, like someone working out with you once a week costs much more than it does to work with me for a month, much more. So there's no way that being a PT you can't earn decent money or as much money as an online trainer can. It's just about knowing your worth and knowing how you package that and how you charge that, what service you're going to provide, what results you get with people. 100% you can do it. Like there's no doubt in my mind that people can do it. And I know people are doing it. I know they are. People are making money, and there's a reason people go to PTs that charge £100 an hour, and people go, how can you charge that much? Because you get a result. It's simple.
It's just I think the way to start looking at it as well, because obviously we've always been big advocate of in-person training, and then I think, like you said, people who want to kind of start to migrate towards it now, look at your clients now, and then possibly they don't have, if they're training with you twice a week. I know this sounds mental right now, but you might have to take the case of like, all right, they might do one session by themselves, and you write their programs for them, but you charge them for that. So you might take out a session for a week, but you write their program, they do it by themselves. So instead you get 4 of those in-person sessions, and then you might spend only an hour writing their program. Not even that, probably, because you've already fucking written it for the other sessions. And then you're charging them for the program writing on the side. So that's the hybrid model. So they're doing it themselves. So you get check-ins, essentially. Check-in sessions is what we do. So you've got that product there. So that's that hybrid. And then because you've released up that time, you can take another client. So essentially, hopefully you're able to take on 2 of those clients, and then you're charging, say, 100 quid a month for that program writing. Suddenly we've got 2 clients. We were earning the same money in person, but we've just stapled on another £200 a month because you're doing the program writing for them now. So if they're interested in that hybrid model, it's slightly cheaper than the full in like stuff that I do. I only really do. I don't make anybody really train with me and then a little bit without me. It's all kind of all online or like all in person. But that hybrid is probably where I'll start to go as well, because I will release my contact in with more work coming educationally, and probably that's going to be more, I don't know, it's not more, per now it's not as financially viable like right now educationally as like one-to-one PT is. Obviously, like what Dan just said, it's like you can earn a lot of money. Like if I'm charging £100 an hour, if I do 4 sessions, that's 400 quid for the day. Like that's going to scale up. That's $2,000 a week. Like, yeah, that's all right. And it's for only essentially 4 to 5 hours work. But as you start to get better, it will start to be more methodical, and you'll be able to do it. So that's how you then implement that hybrid model. That's what I would start to do. And then the chances are those people might drop off, God forbid, your other sessions, and they'll just go onto an increased rate on your online thing. So Dan charges like £175 to £250 a month, and then that's what you're going to be able to charge because they've already got your service. So you crack on at 175 and you're just programming for them, and you're like, no, you're fully online now, so I don't have to see you. So you get a little bit more like contact time in terms of like the phone check-in. So that's the extra £75, if you will.
I think PTs need to look at it as if, because don't get me wrong, there are some people who just aren't right for online training. They need so much queuing, so much help in person.
100%,
right? Yeah. 100% they need that. But there's no reason why your goal after 6 months shouldn't be to get them in a position where they're comfortable to come in the gym on their own, use a squat rack, use a barbell, lift safely, all that sort of jazz. And you can almost have it as a bit like a conveyor belt where actually all you're doing is trying to find one-to-one leads, but you're going to turn them over 6 to 9 to 12 months into online clients. That should be your goal. And then that means, the ones that are in 6 to 9 months might come in once every 3-4 weeks for a one-off session. But the point is, it might seem like you're making less money. Like if you're charging what Tom charges and they come to see you twice a week, you're at 800 quid a month, right, in the first 6 months. And it might seem counterintuitive to then put them on £400 a month online only, half the price. But I guarantee you that person will go, oh, okay. Well, if you think I'm ready for it, and they'll go, they've got more confidence because you've told them they're ready to go in the gym on their own. They don't need you there holding a hand. They're saving money. They're still getting great results, and you're still checking in. And you can then say, one-off sessions at 100 quid if you want to come in once. So that could be once a month, 500 quid. You're saving them 300 quid. But the amount of actual FaceTime you have with that person is a lot less. You can take on more of those clients than doing the one-to-one. And the online clients will take you less time, as in the gym or on the gym floor or whatever. You do more work at home in your own time, being flexible, and you can kind of take them through that conveyor belt almost of like constantly then trying to find those one-to-one leads, taking them online. You've got loads more time, you have loads more happy people, you get much better results because you control more variables. And there's just loads of ways to do it, but people just aren't prepared to upskill. So what I'm saying is you can upskill to learn to be an online coach and have these systems and stuff, but you can still start every single client of yours at one-to-one. If that's what you love and that's what you love being, great, crack on with that. If that's where you're going to get leads, do it. But transition them through the process so that you're not holding their hand the whole time. You don't have that constant fear of, what if they don't turn up to the gym this week? I'll lose that 100 quid. No, because they're paying monthly now for that session. They're accountable to you, so they're going to turn up for the majority of them anyway. And you check in with them on the phone that week rather than seeing them in person. And there's just so many ways to do it, but it's outside the norm, which is why PTs are scared to do it, because they look around and go, no one else in the gym's doing that. Exactly. That's probably why you should be doing it, because no one else is doing it. Everyone follows this whole thing with PTs. Buy a pack of 10. bang, that's it, done. The industry's moved on, it's changed. People pay for a result. They don't pay for 10 blocks of 1 hour sessions. It's dinosaur way of thinking, in my opinion. And it's difficult if you're involved in a gym that has those rules. It's difficult. Obviously it is. If you're part of like a third space, for example, do that, and that's the way it is. I get it.
Yeah, but it's interesting saying that as well, like, because obviously I'll be in like 1 hour blocks and stuff like that, but there is a few clients and stuff that, even though I'm charging them for that hour, right, it might be I might chop it short and be like, we're done in 45 minutes or to 50 minutes, and I'll be like, all right, you can just sit there and like stretch out for a little bit, we'll just chat, we're not doing anything really, but it'll be a case of like, I've done everything we need. Is that cool? Yeah. All right. Yeah, they can get away early.
I just find it odd. I just find it odd that, like, in any other thing, like, if it was a business mentor, for example, you don't sign up for a block of 10 calls and then hope at the end of the 10 you're where you want to be. You pay monthly until you get your end result that you want. Like, you literally, and then as you go through it, you have new goals and you realize the benefit of it, and you expand and you go bigger and you go further. It's just, there's no other real industry. I just find it odd as an industry that they still do it that way. And it's just, like I said, that ingrained way of thinking. And I think, you know, it's an industry where you have to try and stand out and be a bit different. And if you can get great results, people, and do that different way of doing it, and people, because don't forget, like I said, with that model I just proposed, after 6 months, you're going to save your clients money. Like, that's a pretty big thing. Not many PTs are going to say to their clients, train less with me and pay me less. But if you genuinely believe that's the best thing for them and you can get the best results with them, that why not? Why not do that? But yeah, anyway, it's just a wild thought. I can't remember what the original question was, to be honest. We just ranted about it, but
I don't know. I think we just. I mean, I wrote about 5 different points of what we were actually going to talk about today, and I don't think we've hit one of them. But I think we've just we've discussed on. I think this whole episode's been more about trainers and people that are getting into training or looking at their
that's
avenues.
Right. No, that's why, because we talked about that's right. We were talking about like going back in the gym, where to start with it or whatever. That was right. That was it. So, but that's why now. This is why now I think it's a great time to do it, because things have changed. Everything's changed now. Like, those clients that were seeing you 3 times a week probably won't now because of the coronavirus, because of maybe time constraints, whatever it is. You've now got the perfect opportunity to flip what you do on its head, and it could be the new normal, because you're setting the new normal as of now. When the gyms start going back, you can say, this is how I'm doing it now. No, we're not doing packs anymore. It's so easy to just do it.
And realising that, it's just going to be like, all right, this is, we're going to limit the contact in. You're kind of looking after them. I want you to limit the contact that you in the gym, because that's one of the hotbeds of maybe it's COVID, whatever. It's like, but you're going to maybe train by yourself and write your park plans, how you've been doing it, but we're going to come in for one strength session, but I'm going to charge you for your online-based stuff. And it's just to be like, right, and then I can start checking on people.
Yeah. So, but people have this fear of online coaching, like, genuinely, like a check-in. Like, people say, "Oh, I don't know how to do check-ins and things like that." I was like, you literally pick up the phone, speak to someone. You're being a coach. Like, coaches coach people, and it's like, there's no fancy system, there's no massive forms to fill in. Pick up the phone. How are you doing?
That you've got like a list or like a little script that you have to talk to, and you've seen that, haven't you? You've been on some calls where people have got a script, and it's the most wooden fucking thing in the world. It's awful, and it's like, hang on a minute. People have the personal fucking trainer, PT, personal trainer. It's like, be personal, be their friend. Like, they want to come to you because they feel like they can tell you something. They can probably tell you stuff that they might not be good to admitting to somebody else as well. 100%. That really happens to personal trainers, because you're paying for that. You're kind of paying for no judgment as well, and you're just like, all right, you're just going to see through like all the crap and hysteria that may have been embarrassing about what you just said, and we're just going to be like, all right, this is how we're going to sort it out.
That's the thing, is that all the best personal trainers that get the best results people are nice people. They're solid people. They're sociable. They get on with people. They know what makes people tick. They're nice to be around. They're fun. They're motivating, all that sort of stuff. And I think it's one of those things where people just overthink it, and it's the fear of the unknown. Of course it is. I get that. It's the fear of the unknown. It's different, all that sort of stuff. But there's no better time to do it than now. Like, if you're listening to this now and you're thinking about doing it or whatever, just ask. Just message me. I'll happily give you some pointers, because it's really not as difficult as you think it is, for one. And two, you've got, like I said, this is the best time. Everything's changed in terms of PT, and it will probably be for the next 6 months until next year. Maybe things will be back to more sort of normal then. But you've got a great opportunity now to to revise what is normal for you and your service you provide. You can go above and beyond. You can provide more. You can charge more. You could charge less. You could free up your hours. You can do whatever you want to do. But ultimately, going back to how you were doing it before is only going to lead to having the same issue and the same problems that you've got or you have had before all this kicked off. All those issues you got.
If you're happy just doing one-to-one, then crack on.
Yeah, exactly. If you are, then crack on. That's fine. But I think most people deep down want
trainers want to evolve. I think whether that's it just seems like you either want to help more people or you want to make more money. What's your evolution? Like both of those for me is going to hybrid or online based training, and just supplementing. Just don't. It doesn't have to be
providing a better service. It's providing a better service. It's not about the location of it, hybrid, online, whatever. It's just providing a better service. Provide a better service, you can charge more money. How you do that, the tools you use to do that is up to you. But that's what it is ultimately. Most PTs don't provide a good enough service outside of that 1 hour session. That's the bottom line.
So I hope we discussed everything for the PTs. Basically, this is a whole episode about becoming a hybrid trainer and all the things that people can think about it. Essentially, that should be the title. Probably will be now. Becoming a hybrid. We were meant to talk about a load of other stuff. Jesus Christ. Actually, I did fall asleep, but we didn't watch it for a while. But again, the Michael Jordan stuff. How ridiculous he takes everything so personally.
It's funny, isn't it?
Everything, like, so his motivation, I don't, like, people was like, oh, it's almost like a Sith. Like, it's like, he is motivated by hate. He is motivated by somebody that's personal to him. He slighted me. He fucked with me. He did that. I'm going to really fucking stick to him. How weird is that? Like,
I think that's just a mindset.
So strange. It was just him, and he was just like, that guy didn't talk to me. I'm going to fucking nail him. Like,
I find it odd as well because most people you speak to, who, like I said, the mindset of champions is they just focus on themselves all the time. They just do whatever they want to do. And he was a bit like that. But the fascinating bit for me was that story when he made it up. He made up something that someone had said.
Oh, did
Have you got to that bit? So basically,
I don't know. I've fallen asleep, mate. So.
Oh, you fell asleep. So basically, there's a funny story where basically Michael Jordan was in like a playoff games or something like that, and some rookie supposedly had said something to him about like, oh, nice shot, Mike, or something like that you made or whatever, and he took it as a sarcastic thing, or he took it sarcastically or whatever, and he was like hating him. And years later, once he'd retired, it came out that the rookie never said anything at all, and it was completely made up. But he made it up so that he could get fired up for that game because it was a series, obviously playing the same people, and he made it up, and because the rookie was like, I never said anything. He's like, I never said that. Like, he didn't say anything. And Michael was like insisting. He said, "You did it, because he was lying to himself almost to believe it.
That you believed
and afterwards came out. He's like, "Yeah, I made it up." He's like, "Yeah, he didn't say anything." It's like, I just did it to motivate himself. It's just like crazy, crazy. But no, I think he's a fascinating character. Like completely unique. You can see why he gets to where he is. Like completely unique.
I would not like to be his friend.
Well, no, all his teammates were the same. They said it was not a nice teammate.
No, it did seem like he's alienated himself quite a lot, but yeah.
He gives a shit, does he, at the moment?
Apparently not, mate. No, I think there's been a few breaks during this show. We've had a bit of connection issues. You might catch them all the way through. But yeah, any other business from your end?
No. The only thing I did see was, as I said to you when we had a little break from the connection issues, was the NBA players have been given Oura rings to like monitor their COVID symptoms, basically, because apparently I saw it on an infograph. How true it is, I don't know, but it's a news story that the Oura rings apparently can predict coronavirus 3 days before like symptoms show or something. Let me just find a thing. Why every player is getting a ring? Yeah, so basically every NBA player has got an Oura ring. Which monitors like sleep, heart rate, activity, temperature, all this sort of stuff. And basically every single NBA player has been given one because they're all going back into play soon. And the read in the comments of this news article was fucking hilarious. They're all like, oh my God, what about like nurses and doctors and all this sort of stuff? And I was like, the Oura ring costs about £400-500. It's like an activity tracker, but it's a ring shape. £400-500. And I was like, because it would cost too much money. Like, NBA players are paying for this themselves. Like, this isn't like, do you know what I mean? But it's just that whole thing of, like, we talked about with, like, the gyms and the pubs and the tax stuff. It's just this complete, utter, like, lack of knowledge around economics and tax and all this sort of shit. Like the reason that those NBA players have got one, is because they can afford to buy one themselves. Like for one,
Crazy.
it's just like, and how accurate it is doesn't matter. Like the fact it's probably not even 100% accurate, because if a nurse was to have it on, you'd want it to be accurate. If the government were paying £500 a pop every nurse, you'd want to make sure it worked. There's no evidence. I say no evidence, but it's not 100% accurate. It's just a guess, right? It's just going to be a prediction. I just find it funny, the comments, reading, like with everything that's going on, the public comments. I just find it fascinating. I wrote an email about it the other day about Facebook arguments. I just find it amazing that people think that they're going to change someone's mind in a Facebook argument or in a comment section of a blog. It's just like, why are you wasting your time places like that? Like, no one's going to change their mind. No matter how much you shout and use caps lock, they're not going to change their mind. Just find it funny. But yeah, that was just the only thing I saw that I thought was relatively fitness related that might be interesting. But
you see, Novak Djokovic tested positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, they played that like
vaccine,
that Balkan like tennis tour, didn't they? They were like, yeah, we're gonna fucking like do it, and then is it like nearly every single one of them is all of them apart from Alexander Zverev, of the players who played in that tournament, have tested positive.
Of course they have, yeah. Probably because all the sweat, all the balls, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and they were just like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's like, they were like, we're all safe. And he's like, brilliant, mate, well done. All of you are positive, apart from one.
Bro.
And then I love it, all the other guys are like Murray was like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. It was way too soon. And it was like, you only did it like a couple of weeks into it. They're like, yeah, we've got to do it. Nick Kyrgios said it was a boneheaded decision to even play it. I was like, yep, sounds right. Yeah. Moron. Anyway, mate, we will leave you be. So no other news. I've got nothing else to say, I think.
No.
None.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Look out for some more updates. So remember, gyms and nightclubs are exactly the same thing. So we're grouped together, but you can still go. You'll be able to go to Alton Towers, Thorpe Park. You can't go to a leisure centre though, so that's a bit tough. Unlucky, guys.
No, swimming. No, man.
All right, guys. Peace out. Catch you next week.
Catch you later.